Hello! If you're watching this video the day it came out, then it has officially been 1 year since Penguinronpa, the Penguinronpa Danganronpa special, which is currently the biggest Penguinronpa bonus special I've ever put out, and also my favorite bonus special that I've ever made. If you somehow missed it after all this time, or hey, maybe you just want to rewatch it again, you can check it out with the link in the description. Anyway, to celebrate the occasion, I've decided to compile 107 facts about the special into one video. It's a totally original idea for a video and is not at all a parody of any other series on YouTube. Some of these facts are never before seen behind-the-scenes tidbits, but honestly most of them are just explaining all of the references. I know a lot of these references are pretty obvious, but hey, I gotta fill 107 facts somehow. Also, obligatory spoiler warning! I'll be talking about spoilers for the special itself, all of Penguinronpa up to Chapter 5, and the entire Danganronpa franchise. So, with that out of the way, let's just get right into it. The special uses the updated intro from Chapter 5, but with the music from Danganronpa 2's opening, hinting from the get-go that this special was Danganronpa related. The clock tower in the snow fort says it's 4 PM on a Friday. This lines up with the special's premiere as it aired on a Friday at 4 PM PST. aka Penguin Standard Time. The Penguins being unaware of the bonus special they're about to partake in reflects how in the real world this special was advertised as a complete mystery until it aired live. Rory once again says everyone is here, referencing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Sam and Amy are asked if they have scripts because in past bonus specials their names have appeared in the credits for writing them. Sam says that everyone being asked together at the snow fort seems familiar, referencing the prologue and how the whole opening of the special parallels that original scene. Monokuma calls Monobird a clown, a running gag of the series. Monokuma's line, "You penguins are pissing me off, I'm the original headmaster," is a reference to a character called the original Starwalker from Deltarune. Several of the Danganronpa characters' dialogue is quoted directly from the original games, most notably in their introductions. Usami rushing in to stop Monokuma from hosting a killing game is a parallel to the school mode in Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc, and a reverse of the events of the prologue in Danganronpa 2. There was going to be an actual CG of Monokuma stabbing Monami, but I simplified it to just dialogue to save myself some time. The 2021 Halloween special is referenced, notably how Jeff and Skip briefly traveled to Hope's Peak Academy. Sensei asks if kids are into Danganronpa these days, to which Monami confirms concerningly due to the game's age rating. This reflects my own concern at how many children are in this goddamn fandom. The plot of the special involves collecting Hope Fragments, a core element of Danganronpa's free time events and bonus modes. The Danganronpa characters have their own intro cards with their own secret codes, and in place of the fish coin in the top left, there is now a mono coin. Makoto's code translates to, "What the hell are you?" something Junko says to him at the end of the first game. Monokuma telling the viewer to buy Danganronpa games is a reference to his own tendency to break the fourth wall and promote the franchise within the games. Kyoko's code translates to, "Pretty sure she died," a reference to an infamous outtake from the end of Danganronpa 3's English dub. The Penguins intro cards from the prologue are remade. These intro cards were not present on YouTube and instead only appeared as thumbnails on Instagram. They each had unique codes back then, but Agent remarks that those codes are the same here, despite the visual change. Makoto says that Agent and Dot are totally spies, referencing the cartoon of the same name. The color of the Hope Fragments that are collected are reminiscent of a blue crystal puffle. Sayaka's code translates to "won't last 4 days," which I'm sure you can infer is about how quickly she died in the first game. However, this is also a reference to Rookie's introduction code, which said "won't last a week," which was supposed to be a red herring to make people think he would be the first victim. Makoto saying, "Of course Sayaka is the first one we find," refers to how Sayaka was the first dead body discovered during the killing school life. The dance Cadence describes is the iconic dance animation from Club Penguin. Agent addresses the viewer directly in their thoughts, telling them that they should know exactly what dance is being talked about. Agent also says the dance was created circa PC3, referring to Penguin Chat 3. Sayaka asks Cadence to teach her the lyrics to The Party Starts Now, one of Cadence's official Club Penguin songs. Sayaka also tries to convince Cadence that she's psychic, something she did often in Danganronpa. Rory says that Astro Barrier is his favorite game, referring to how in Chapter 3 he said he preferred it to Thin Ice. Chiaki's code translates to, "She was more of a Webkins kid." While I do believe Chiaki is a cultured gamer who played both Club Penguin and Webkins, just like me, I'm pretty sure she would prefer the latter more. The execution simulator being Tetris for Chiaki is a reference to her execution literally being based on Tetris. Chiaki saying Z out loud repeatedly is a reference to something Napstablook does in Undertale. A self-imposed challenge that ignores the game designer's intentions refers to various viral challenge videos on YouTube where people play games incorrectly. Chiaki says that she and Rory are going to get a #1 victory royale, referencing Chug Jug With You, a Fortnite-themed parody song. Miyu suggesting that she can't swear on Club Penguin is a reference to the chat filters from the original game, preventing profanity. I wanted to tone down the more dirty side of Miyu's personality, so I instead had her focus on swearing. Miyu's code translates to talk about a potty mouth, again referring to the fact that she swears a lot, as well as yeah, I hate it too. Miyu calls Makoto Egg Boy, referencing an inside joke in the Danganronpa fandom. Miyu says she will turn Gary into Sweary by the end of the day, foreshadowing the end of the special. Leon saying stupid repeatedly references his breakdown dialogue after being caught in the class trial. Leon mentioning a singing owl is a reference to the very old animated short I Love to Singa. Agent's line about Frankie and Leon making diss tracks refers to that very stupid period of time on the internet where YouTubers kept stirring up pointless drama by making diss tracks on each other. We are out of that era, right? I mean, I haven't seen any in a while, but God, I hope we are. Nekomaru's code translates to that darn Chapter 4 curse, referring to how his own death kind of solidified the buff character dies in Chapter 4 trope. Jetpack Guy asks people to simply call him Guy, and Dot quickly says that people will only call him JPG, just like she does in the prologue. Rookie asks Kibo if penguins have ears, referencing a small running joke from chapters 3 and 4. He then asks Kibo if robots have ears, which is a censored version of a question Kokichi asks him in V3. Kibo's name is written with 2 I's instead of the localized spelling with 2 E's. I just prefer that spelling of his name. Agent not having the best history with robots refers to the events of the first Elite Penguin Force game, and arguably the events of Penguinronpa as well. Of course, this also allows for a reference to the running gag of robophobia from V3. Dot references a line she said in the Jeff the Ref Lost introduction video by saying Pizza.NHQ, what'll she do, while using her pizza sprite from Chapter 2. Kyoko then appears directly afterward with her noodle sprite, which is what Dot's pizza sprite was a parody of in the first place. Rookie's line, "You're freaking me out, dudes," is a quote from Seuss from Gravity Falls. "You're freaking me out, dude," referencing how Rookie was dressed as Seuss in the Gravity Falls special. Kibo says, "What's gonna work? Teamwork," which is a reference to Wonder Pets. The post-teleportation jitters are mentioned again, as they were in Chapter 4. Makoto mentions the dojo from Hope's Peak Academy's 5th floor. Sakura's code translates to a traitorous traitor. Sakura was a traitor who ended up betraying Monokuma, so it's really just as simple as that. Kind of a dumb code, honestly. Sakura, you deserve something better than that, I'm sorry. Dot claims she has learned the way of the ninja. This is actually a reference to Club Penguin Island, where it's confirmed that the person who taught her how to be so stealthy was Sensei. Originally, the Cardjutsu teams were Agent, Kyoko, and Sakura versus Makoto, Dot, and Sensei. I simplified it to Penguins versus Humans. You may recall that I re-uploaded the special the morning of its premiere. The reason was because there was a typo during this segment where Agent says that snow beats snow. I re-rendered the entire special again to fix this one mistake. Kyoko plays a card of a penguin looking through the manhole entrance to the underground pool. I felt this reflected how Kyoko is constantly searching for entrances to restricted areas throughout the first game. Sensei needing a snow card to win parallels his own execution. Sensei uses the Shadow Guy and Yamagal power card during his battle with Sakura, which is the same card Sam tried to use against Protobot in the Chapter 5 execution. Additionally, Sensei is only shown to play power cards that feature other main characters on them. Nagito saying, "Hello there everyone," is a reference to a popular meme video, Nagito Kamaida, on the Nintendo DS.
Hello there, everyone!
Paige calling Monami a rabbit puffle refers to the puffle creatures of the same name. Nagito saying an old friend of his is in a different underground refers to Sans from Undertale, who Nagito is commonly associated with in memes, as well as another popular fangan, Danganronpa 69. Nagito recites a line he said in Danganronpa 2, talking about how a penguin will never be able to fly, much to JPG's disapproval. Rantaro's code translates to something something avocado, because Danganronpa fans have one joke when it comes to talking about this man. Rantaro references his free time events by saying he'd like to be the ultimate big brother. He also mentions his little sisters a bit later. Agent then says they could be the ultimate big sibler, referencing the scene from Chapter 5 where the term was coined. Sam saying that he and Rantaro's relevance isn't brought up until later refers to the fact that they are largely unimportant in the early half of their respective killing games. Sam also says, "No problem here," something that comes up often in Mother 3 when you check something unimportant. The boiler room drawer is referenced once again, this time by revealing that in the non-canon universe, Sam has been hiding Danganronpa merchandise inside of it. This also implies that's what he was looking at throughout the entirety of the 2021 holiday special. Sam's opinions on Danganronpa reflect how I feel about the series. Hina's code translates to "just keep swimming," an obvious Finding Nemo reference. By the way, don't forget that Dory is canon to Club Penguin. The command room being powered by 2 AA batteries is actually a canon fact from Club Penguin. Antarctic says jellyfish, sharks, crabs, oh my, listing the enemies in ice fishing as well as referencing the Wizard of Oz. The underwater room is mentioned as well as the secret method to access it from Puffle Rescue. Teru Teru's code translates to Avril Lavigne, something he screams toward the end of DR2's first trial. Agent saying that most penguins pretend they have a job at the pizza parlor refers to the role-playing aspect of Club Penguin. Like Miyu, certain aspects of Teru Teru also had to be toned down. To compromise, I simply had him be very slightly flirty toward both Makoto and Kyoko. This is actually a very subtle and clever reference to the fact that Teru Teru is bisexual. Rockhopper asks for a Sprite Cranberry, referencing the 2 sprites joke as well as the Sprite Cranberry meme itself. Amy's key smashes are actually not random letters and are instead secret codes. By putting them through an @bash cipher and then reversing them, you get the following messages. Who in their right mind would spend so much time trying to decipher such a stupid code? And, aw man, not another code, I don't want to have to solve this. These are direct quotes from Amy in Chapter 5. Kyoko tells Kaede that her music skills are mighty fine. This is a reference to a line of dialogue in Banjo-Kazooie's Mad Monster Mansion level. After Agent and the others are accidentally put to sleep by Kaede playing the Night Night tune, they are awoken by several notes being played on the piano, resulting in a loud noise. The notes played here is the exact same chord heard at the end of the song that closes most Penguinronpa bonus specials. Miyu calls Kaede Bakamatsu, something she does in the original Japanese release of V3. Agent tells Kaede that she'll get redemption for her Rampa somehow, referring to Redemption Rampa, another fangan in which Kaede is the protagonist. There was intended to be one more scene that ended up being scrapped. This would have been with either the Elite Puffles and the Mono Cubs in the pet shop, or Herbert and Muguro in the forest. I ended up cutting them because 1, I was indecisive, 2, the special was already getting way too long, and 3, for story purposes, it made more sense for the last Hope fragment to come from Junko and Monobird. As the gang returns back to the snow forts, the clock tower now reads 5 o'clock p.m. because in real time, it had been a little over an hour since the special began. Klutzy and Monami are paired together because Monami was a significant inspiration for Klutzy's role in Penguinronpa. Monami also has her own intro card that says she is the ultimate teacher. Monami never had an ultimate talent in any Danganronpa media, but I thought this one was fitting enough. Back in the prologue, Klutzy's code was meant to say cannot speak and is therefore weak. However, I accidentally put the wrong tic-tac-toe code symbol, so it instead said cannot speak and is therefore wheat. This typo was fixed for his updated intro card here, as Dot goes out of her way to mention. The first sprite Junko appears with is her crown sprite, just like her first true appearance in the first Danganronpa game. Additionally, when Junko uses this sprite, she tends to speak with nosism, also known as the royal we, where she uses plural pronouns like we instead of I and us instead of me. This provides a tiny bit of foreshadowing to her betrayal, as when Junko says us, she is not referring to her and Monobert, and is instead only talking about herself. The way Junko's name is stylized on her intro card is meant to resemble the Penguinronpa logo. Junko directly mentions the chat that was watching the special's premiere, because by saying she's broadcasting the trial right now, she is obviously referring to the special premiering live on YouTube, shattering the fourth wall in real time. Throughout the trial, Dot, Kyoko, Makoto, and Agent all interject with a counter. Makoto uses his pointing sprite for this graphic and not his actual counter from the first game. I used a sprite for him here to be consistent with Kyoko, who doesn't have her own counter graphic. During the flashback between Jeff and Monobert, the dimensional hub from the Halloween special is seen again. The only differences being that Skip's portal is now gone, along with the text on the screen that denied him entry to the canon universe. Monobert and Junko were allegedly able to distract me with a Nintendo 64 and a copy of Banjo-Kazooie, which is true, as evidenced by this photo I tweeted out right before the special. You may also notice a Yellow Among Us plushie in the background of this picture, which hinted at the special's ending. By the way, I've had this aerial behind-the-scenes shot of this photo just sitting on my phone for a year now. I never shared it because I never thought anyone would find it that interesting, so I guess I'll just finally share it now. The completed Hope fragments are in the shape of a puffle, and briefly turns into the colors of a golden puffle. Makoto saying shit as Junko is about to take over the Penguinrompaverse was meant to be a reference to what he says when you get something wrong in a trial. But I misremembered this because he actually says shoot. Shoot! Makoto does still say shit at one point though, and it is directed at Junko, so the reference is salvaged.
You're so full of shit!
Gary is shown wearing goggles when he arrives with Miyu. This was obviously done to have him match with her, but Gary has also been shown to wear these exact goggles on Club Penguin before. There is a very easy to miss code on the side of the Fuck You 3000 that translates to by GNMI. This is a reference to how Gary marks a few of his inventions with by G in tic-tac-toe code. With this logic in mind, you can probably now realize that the code essentially means by Gary and Miyu Iruma. The Fuck You 3000 being described as the physical embodiment of any bullshit last-minute plot twist is me making fun of my own writing. Junko's final scene, and to an extent her appearance throughout the entire special, is somewhat of a commentary on Junko's character and my own interpretation of her. I believe that Junko is a genius, but in the most intentionally stupid way possible. Narratively speaking, I think this makes her a perfect character who by her own rules can truly never be defeated. If it wasn't obvious, I really like Junko, and writing for her in this special is some of the most fun I've had. Genuinely, I find her to be a masterfully written character. I love her, and I hope she explodes. Oh yeah, she did! I used the explosion sound effect from Deltarune, which was apparently also in Roblox, which was probably taken from somewhere else, I don't know. JPG saying he'll soon be able to carry 3 jetpacks at once is a reference to the first holiday special, where he's carrying 2 jetpacks at once. Gary's line saying Monobert will be put in timeout for 15 or 16 minutes is a quote from Phineas and Ferb's Meepless in Seattle episode.
He's gonna get a serious timeout now. 16 minutes.
Dot says she thinks the reason Miyu was the hero in the special is because she's someone's favorite, which is highlighted in yellow text. Dot also says that she knows the feeling. This, to the surprise of no one, is because Dot and Miyu are my favorite Club Penguin and Danganronpa characters respectively. Speaking of my favorite characters, Banjo and Kazooie also briefly appear just for the hell of it, complete with another Rory and Smash joke. Agent, Dot, Makoto, and Kyoko discussing how they feel that there is some metatextual significance to their encounter refers to how Agent and Dot's personalities, relationship, and roles in Penguinronpa were entirely inspired by Makoto and Kyoko, as well as, you know, Penguinronpa itself being a Danganronpa parody, meaning that both the characters meeting each other as well as the entire bonus special has effectively brought things full circle. There's also a giant circular portal behind them as they say this, so I think that's pretty funny. The visual presentation of the credits is meant to mimic Danganronpa 2's title screen. Rockhopper doesn't get a pixel sprite in the credits, and Dusami's name quickly changes to Monami. Sorry guys. Jeff tells Kamaru that teleportation may feel weird, once again referring to the post-teleportation jitters. Kamaru then says it can't be weirder than saving progress on a toilet, something she does throughout Ultra Despair Girls. Jeff answers the phone by saying, "Yo, champ in the making," something the gym guides from Pokemon say often. The Among Us costume I'm wearing in the final scene is a reference to the thumbnail of an Among Us video I made in 2021. The Rift Wrench I'm holding was inspired by the Magic Wrench from Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. Also, if you look closely at the wrench, you can spot a code that says by MI, which may imply where I got the wrench from. Also, the wrench was originally a jar. And finally, this ending scene was originally something else entirely that was scrapped in favor of the final one. Since it was pretty short, I decided to go ahead and actually edit it together. 2 things to note though before you see it. 1, I'll be using my old Sona design in this because that's what it was at the time of the special, and 2, you can probably tell that certain elements of this scene were later carried over to the 2022 holiday special. So with that said, here it is. And there you have it, 107 facts about Penguinronpa, the Penguinronpa Danganronpa special. Would you believe me if I told you I still have more to say about it? But for now, I'm going back into hibernation from Penguinronpa, so I hope you enjoyed. Goodbye.